I'm O'Day. That's Vicky. I'm me. You're you. We are we.
Oh my god, that was so corny.
The You, Me, We
goodness.
podcast. Welcome everybody to the You, Me, We podcast, episode 20-something. I think 23.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we
like
doing
that.
big things, bro.
Nice.
We got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and all right, I'll stop there, listeners. But this is the You, Me, We podcast. I'm O'Day. We have Vicky back in the building, and we have a special.
He says it back in the building like
Like you were in
at
here?
one point I'm going to exit. I don't understand that.
I let you back in the building every time we record in the building.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's the equivalent. That's like the typical rapper stuff. We in the building, or you know who it is. Or
You're like, no, you're in the bedroom.
Vicky's back in the attic. And special guest joining us in our conversation today. Some of you may know him from Instagram, Lessons from Tony.
Yeah.
Some of you may know him as your former Uber driver in San Diego. And many of you know him as the Scarf God on Facebook. Antonio Perales, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now, Tony is a mutual friend of ours for several years, and he's on the East Coast, so we figured let's have him by. And Tony is also sadly single, so we figured he was.
Yo,
He's
you are,
pretty
you are
pathetic.
So,
We
I knew
figured
this was
you are
coming.
so.
we figured we would have
disrespectful.
Tony on to have a conversation about being single,
Yeah, it's fun.
because we don't know what it means to be single anymore, because we are happily together,
Oh, that's so
in
nice.
love,
All right.
cohabitating, waiting for marriage before we have
She's
relations.
definitely apartment searching right there.
Like every word,
Yeah.
I'm like,
But we
send
figured.
an email.
But I know a lot of us will have talks with our friends who are single, and you talk about just being single.
Mhm.
I have a friend who's dating right now, right? Well, yeah, he's dating. And I was like, yo, don't wait too long to, commit to somebody.
Mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking
Because remember, he's having fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, you don't want to end up later on when you figure out, you know what, I'm done having fun.
Yeah.
I want to settle down right now, but there's no one there. Because you just wanted to have your fun, and you let all these good people kind of go.
Mhm.
And I told him, I was like, hey, but I get it. You just came out of something that you were in for like, 2-3 years. And he was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, yo, I was with her for like 5 years. I was like, oh, do you, bro? Do you? So that made me think of the transition for people who are single, but they were just in something long term.
Yeah.
And also why I thought of you, because I know you are single, but you were in something long term and serious,
Yeah.
and you had to transition into being single.
Yeah.
Are there rules to transitioning from going from something long term? I mean, I'll tell you guys next year.
Wait, you've never been single? Damn.
Not from something that serious.
But no, but are there rules to transitioning from being in? I guess rules for that you should follow as the newly single person.
Are there? I don't think there's rules, but I think there's tendencies for what you do.
There's like that like those habits that you already developed that is hard to break.
Or I think
kind of
once
thing.
you get like this new freedom, it's like there's like this new expression of yourself. Like you want to be like out there. You want
But
to.
you gotta be careful with that, because you might be going, you know what, boo, I'm single. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
about to just go out there and just. But that's why I say rules. Maybe there's some things you shouldn't do now that you're
Jump into another.
newly single after 4 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
3 years.
I don't think you should start dating, like seriously dating somebody for some time once you break
yeah,
up.
like you shouldn't jump into something.
Because I think I think a lot of people are serial daters, and I realized that I had that tendency as well. Like you get out of one thing and then you fill the void with somebody else. And then, but you never resolved the issue of why your last relationship ended, and now you carry that into your new relationship, not even realizing, and then it ruins that one too. So
Right.
it's like a vicious cycle.
But the saying is, if you want to get over somebody, get under somebody new.
That
That's
does
horrible.
That
we-
does
yeah,
nothing. you
That
just
is
cry in
horrible.
bed. You just cry when they're on top of you.
That is sad.
You just die on the inside a little
Yeah,
bit.
you just cry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that's good advice.
But like,
Yeah.
okay, so Vicky and I we've been out the game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, Vicky, but not. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Vicky, you've been playing?
Well,
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I
what?
think that would save a lot of relationships.
Wait, what?
wait.
He was trying to insinuate that I'm the only one that's been
But
off
not
the
the-
game and that he's been in the game
And
the
then
whole time.
You came out of left field.
So now you're gonna have to elaborate on what you thought he said.
How
Cause
many-
now,
how many
I'm a little intrigued now.
How many
like,
times you traveled to Utah?
I've been there many times, actually.
Okay,
That's
let's
awesome.
go back.
Did you just call me a sister wife?
All right, so wait. You said this is
I spoke a little out of turn. All right.
no, but speak on it, cause
That
you know what though? It's funny you said that because we
just have this
we were
conversation?
just having a conversation about.
Oh, was that the girl that left?
Yeah, sure.
We were just having a conversation about a hot topic online right now where somebody named B something. What's her name? B Smith or B something or something.
Oh,
B?
the lady with Alzheimer's that her
Yeah.
husband has a girlfriend.
Yeah,
Oh.
and like like you said, it might save some relationships. So for them,
No, we don't know.
Yeah,
I think
whatever.
that nobody knows if like did she ever consent because she has Alzheimer's. So like,
Ah, got you.
how would she ever really know? Kind of thing. So
But-
people are having a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you said for some people that might work. That might be. You're like, it didn't work for me, but
No, I've just seen the more that I travel and the more that when you meet people that there's like, they're not concerned about like your opinion of them.
Yeah.
Like when you meet like strangers and you're like in candid conversation or like you meet people and you only see each other once in a while, I feel like they open up a little bit more. And I've experienced,
Because they're like, I'll never have to see you again.
yeah, or it's almost like it's just, I think it's just candid conversation that people are willing to have if they're comfortable enough with their situation. And I've encountered people that aren't in traditional relationships. Like
Yeah.
I've encountered people that are one gets to play, or they both get to play but only together, or they both get to play but only on vacation if they're never seeing the person again, or and like all these different arrangements where to me when I first was introduced to it, I was like, this is absolutely insane. Like this is unorthodox. But then I'm meeting people that are together for years, and it's like, if the arrangement works, it works. I think that so many of us are always thinking about like what's out there,
yeah.
that if we got a little taste of what was out there and
Little
but
taste.
yeah,
Little
together,
taste.
however, but it's just I'm seeing non-traditional relationships more and more.
Yeah, because I think that there's less taboo on them because
There's no more rules in general.
no, I think that people are able to connect with others in that same mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's more accessibility to people like you or
There's more Facebook groups.
well, that's what I mean. There's
Yeah.
more accessibility,
There's more
so you
communities.
don't.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot more community. So where you're thinking
There's more
that it's just
communities for the
you,
freaks.
you like, you
the
literally
freaks.
log in and there's a whole community, and you're like, oh damn,
Mhm.
all these people. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so then I'm not as.
There's more apps. There's threesacrowd.com. I don't know if that's a real site.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a real
That
site.
sounds like a site. She's gonna check it.
Why don't you go on the site?
Get out of Zillow and then go into
You go on the site. It's me on the top banner.
O'Day's website. Yeah, but
PhoenixMPM.com.
I think it's just, I think it's just whatever works for your relationship
Yeah.
is what you should be doing, and that's a matter of like if there's comfort with each other. I'm not saying that that's what everybody should be
Sure.
doing,
You
but
nasty.
I mean I'm single, so don't take advice from me.
Okay, so how was that going from something serious,
Uh-huh.
long term, into having to be single?
Hmm.
Because go ahead.
It was fun until I felt alone again. That's
it
really
was
what
fun
it is.
until you were in the shower, balled up, just crying at the water drip.
You
down.
were watching. Right? No, I honestly, because I think once we separated, you almost feel like this freedom, right?
Yeah.
And then like you start enjoying yourself, but then it's like, what happens at the end of the night when you're like by yourself?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And like that's what I'm saying. Like those issues that haven't been worked out, just stay with you until you deal with them. But like we can fill it enough with dating people or with hooking up with people, but eventually you come back and you're by yourself. And it's like that. If you can sit with that, then you're cool. But you have to like work through it. I think a lot of people fill it with other people, and then by the time they're old enough or they're too old, nobody wants
Nobody
to be
wants
with them
because
anymore.
They're old and
And now
shriveled.
they're by themselves again.
Yeah.
And it's I think we're seeing a lot of people like that, and it's not an easy thing to be dating right now.
I remember.
Damn.
Wow, I felt the
Damn,
sadness.
I was like,
I feel like I saw you die a little bit.
I just want to cuddle.
No, I remember telling some friends at times when I was single, and they were like, "Yo, bro, you should be having fun right now. You single?" I remember saying, "I like knowing who I'm going home to."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like knowing.
Look, she just fell in love. No.
What is it? I love you.
But you are also like a woman, though. So, like,
listen, but I like I said, I like knowing who I'm going home to.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where, even though you're out at the club, and this happened to me, you're out at the club having fun, chilling with people, dancing, hanging out. I have had times where you're out partying, but then you go home and you're like,
yeah.
now what? There's nobody here.
The thing is, I think I talk about societal pressures a lot,
Mhm.
and I think society says that by the time we're a certain age, we have to have somebody with us.
Yeah.
Like if we're by ourselves,
Mom and dad.
and I think even more for women, like if you're by yourselves in your 30s or your 40s, like there's something wrong with her. Like you know what I mean? Like guys, we're bachelors. Girls, there's something wrong with her. You know what I mean? But like now, like as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it's okay to be by yourself for a while. Like when you find the right person and you're ready to commit, that's cool too. But the society kind of pushes us. That's why you see people stay together that don't belong together. You know what I mean? Like. And they stay together because they're scared of
supposed to be together, yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but I hope that's not the case for a lot of people.
I feel like Tony keeps dying at the end of everything. The sadness keeps kicking in.
Because I'm like, wait, that's sad. That's not happy.
Wait, that's me.
But that is true, though.
He's gonna cry. He's gonna cry in the car. Watch.
Oh, don't worry.
No, that is true, though.
But okay, and I'm sure we're all adults. We can all be candid about. There is some fun, like you said. There is some fun to being single. There is some fun. I know I said there is that part where I like knowing who I'm going home to, but I have had some people who are single saying I like knowing that
They're going to leave.
not that they're gonna leave because I'm.
Yes.
I like knowing that there's some randomness in who I'm gonna go home with.
Okay.
And that they're gonna leave.
Okay.
What happened?
No,
I'm not pointing at her saying.
No, I didn't say that. I don't know what's happening.
I wasn't saying and they're gonna leave.
No.
You're annoying.
I wasn't saying that, but there is some fun in it. Come here.
Yeah, there is.
To some people.
Yeah.
To some.
Yeah, not everyone.
I'm sure you had fun when you were single.
I did. Not that kind of fun. That fun.
You know what I mean? But
Listen,
but it was,
I empower my girlfriends that are single to do what they want to do.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that the days of like, oh, if I hook up with the guy that I just met, like, oh, I'm this.
what is he gonna think of me?
Yeah, I'm like, yo, who cares? Like, if you're a female, like, you should have the same not luxury. You should have the same freedoms
Absolutely.
to express yourself sexually
Absolutely.
as any man, and without shame. And if you have people around you that are judging you for that, like if you're going overboard, like I get it, like lock it up, you know what I mean? But like, but if you're enjoying yourself,
and that's everyone. Like if
Yeah.
you're going overboard, I think you need a break.
yeah, like calm down, like relax.
But what's overboard? What's over, what's
When
overboard?
things are going out of control, like when they
Yeah.
can't control everything else that's going on because
Yeah.
they're too focused.
Yeah.
Wake up in the
That's
morning, like,
overboard.
where am I?
Or like
Turn
I gotta
over.
take you to the doctors like every 4 days. Like we need to have a talk.
So
Yeah.
Let's have a talk.
But
But
you got like a pill jar of Plan B's.
That's horrible.
yo, it's not even pregnancy. I mean, I'm more concerned like STDs. Like that's to me is like because some people just aren't honest at all.
So the pregnancy
Right.
is nothing.
Yeah, that,
Oh,
no,
9 months, 18
but-
years, whatever.
but I'm just saying like I'm more concerned with somebody being honest because
Yeah.
I'm asking you like. I mean, not at the club, you know what I mean. But like, if we're like, if we're at my,
She got a dunk.
Yeah.
She got, do you have anything?
me.
She got a dunk.
Can I see your papers, your papeles?
The girl's like, what? You want to see my what? I'm trying to back that thing up.
No, but I mean, I'm very. That's
Yeah.
to me like the biggest fear. Like, and I'm very candid in that conversation. And some people don't. Some people don't ask anything. I'm just like, I'm concerned if you don't ask me.
Yeah, you're like, you just do this.
Oh, so this is just
yeah,
this is what
this
you do?
is what you do.
I was like,
Okay.
no. No, but yeah, it's not. It's kind of a scary thing out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So you mentioned it earlier. There are people who are. You said serial daters, or you said you at one point was a serial dater. I know some serial daters, and it's like they just can't be single. They can't do the. Let me just. I'm just gonna be with, how is it y'all say it? I'm just gonna be with me and discover who I am, blah blah blah. But they just can't. Some women do that. That whole thing of like, I'm just gonna
guys do the same thing.
Yeah,
What
I
are
think a
you
lot of
talking
people.
about?
Everybody's in this discovery phase.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I get it.
But some people, like you said, are serial daters.
Mhm.
Why is it that, I guess, like you said,
just don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
That's it.
is that a flaw in people that can't be alone? I apologize if I'm offending anybody who is that
I
person.
think you've offended plenty of people.
Yeah, I think
up
we're
until this conversation.
nobody's watching now. They're already all gone.
Anybody still watching is just keeping tabs. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
But should that be defined as a flaw? People who like you can't be alone.
I'll come up. I'll let her speak and then I'll speak.
I don't think that it's a flaw if you own it. I think just like any other trait for people that it's a flaw if you don't admit to it.
Yeah.
Don't get people that out of being certain ways.
But what
But
she's
if
saying,
that's how they are, but if they're upfront and they're like, I don't like being alone.
Mhm.
I mean, they're pretty much putting on the table, and it's your choice to take it or leave it. You can't take it and then be like, I don't like that you don't like being alone. Like, well, I kind of told you this like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That I don't like being alone. I don't know what to tell you now.
Well, but I think the other side of it is what is like if we get to the root of why you don't like being alone.
Right, because then you also have to understand like.
Cause you gotta be alone at some point.
Like that when people are like, oh, the first step is admitting the problem.
Yeah.
Like, no, like just saying some like, I don't like being alone. Like, okay. But that's you understand like that is straight up surface.
But
like
why?
there are roots under that you need to go discover.
So you gotta do the.
And then
who hurt
once you admit to those roots, then you have now admitted the problem. Not I don't like being alone. Why?
I'll say this. I always kind of come back to this idea that we're all lonely. Like and I hate sounding so depressing about it, but I feel like a lot of us feel alone a lot of the time. We can be in a room filled with people and we can still feel alone.
Yeah.
We can be in a relationship and still feel alone. But if you're that serial dater, when you are truly alone, you have to fill it with something. Yeah. And if you're filling it just to avoid dealing with an issue, then that's when I think it's a problem. But if you're filling it because, you're comfortable with yourself, you just want to experience somebody else and be with somebody else, and enjoy them, that's a little bit different. But I think learning to be alone is probably one of the bigger lessons that I've learned because I hated it. I hated the idea of it until I had to, and there was no other option. And that's real.
I'll admit, some of my most productive periods of time is when I was single and alone. I wasn't dating. I wasn't, calling anybody over just to hang out for a night and cuddle. I was alone. But I was productive. I was being creative. That's when I first launched, like, any kind of streaming that I was doing. And now, full studio, podcast and stuff, co-host. Just timeline. But, so, somebody like me, flawless. No, I'm joking. But
God.
By the way, her leg is like starting to shake. I don't know what's happening.
Because of the knife.
That's bad
Because
habit.
of the knife that's like hitting me.
I'm getting nervous. I'm just making mad eye contact with you, like.
Like run. You trying to do like Morse code, like she gonna stab you.
No, that's bad habit.
No, but like for me, I think for some people that alone time, I would think should give you a chance to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know, be productive, be creative, just do.
I think O'Day is the only person I've ever met that has never had an issue with being alone.
I was gonna say that
I literally.
I'm
think
not
he's
joking.
the only
I'm happy
person
you
I've
said
ever
that
met.
because I feel like you have that peace.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to accomplish. It's really not. And I as you were speaking, I was thinking that like I feel like you have that ability, and that's a great thing because I think a lot of us don't. And even for me, there's times that it's rough for me, but I think you have that, which is
and here's why. I think we were talking about it before. One, I feel like I've surrounded myself with the things I like.
Okay.
To the point where I don't mind just staying by myself because I've surrounded myself with things I like, and I like, which just so happen to be a lot of times things that I can do alone.
Yeah.
And two, for those who know me and know the things I do, where I've worked, where I work now, the things I do on the side, I'm always surrounded by people, by energy, by sound, by just stimulus or whatever going on.
So you appreciate.
Which is why I love and appreciate
Your
my
solitude.
alone time, my solitude. That's why I gotta tell the hoes, yo, just leave me alone right now. Back when I was single.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciated when they weren't calling and hit me up on my beeper. You know, back in the day.
What about you? Are you good with being alone?
No.
So picture that. Picture O'Day appreciating
Trying to
his
lock himself in the closet. And she's like, what are you doing?
Oh, I will come and sit right on this couch.
Sit right there. Not even ask me what I'm doing. Just sit there. And this is me. Yo, please, just leave, bro. Just leave. And she's just there like doing her thing, knowing that she wants to say something. But anyways.
Well, it's funny because alone it's like I have hit or miss, but there's like when I'm home, like in San Diego, even when I'm here and I'm working like my place, like I'm in my studio and I'm by myself, I have like a sense of peace now, which before it would drive me absolutely insane. Like I would feel like I needed to like hang out with somebody or call somebody over or like just have a friend around. And now I've learned like to sit in that peace is comfortable. But now what I do is I work at cafes a lot. And like I'm not interacting with a lot of people because when I'm on stage and I'm talking to people, like the amount of energy that I exert is absolutely like insane. That I like once I'm off stage, I'm just like I need to like decompress. But when I'm working, I'll be around all these people and I won't say anything to anybody. But to me, I'm just a person that needs the energy of other individuals. And I feed off of that. And that helps me a lot. Maybe that's what she feels when she's up here just on the
Just
sofa.
giving him the dead stare.
Yeah.
So can we just acknowledge Tony's little stunt on us right there? When I'm at home in San Diego,
I know.
when
Yo,
I'm
I was like, wait, you got houses on.
I
East
got
Coast
two
time?
homes, one for the east. My man got two homes or two residences. He's like, no, I don't. I have
As I was saying, I was like, they're gonna say something about this. I should have just said like,
because it was like when I'm back home in San Diego, but when I'm here in my studio, I'm like,
what?
that don't make no sense.
no, honestly, I have like a little basement studio apartment, and this. When I'm here and it's like my friends, my family, my mother, my siblings, like everybody's like, hey, and like there's times that I'll just go there and just me, like
No one even knows you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, dude. There's sometimes that I'll fly in and then I'll call my mom like the next day. I'm
On
like,
the
hey
way
mom,
out?
I'm
Yeah,
here.
you need that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's but only as an adult has that peace, has that solitude been peaceful, because before it used to be like chaotic to me, like in my mind. It's kind of crazy. And that's why once our relationship ended, that was something that I had to learn for myself.
Yeah.
Because you can only fill that void with so many people, with so many things, that eventually you have to sit and like sit in that discomfort. And that's really what it is. Like you're sitting in that discomfort, and that's when you start like reflecting and questioning and trying to understand. It's an interesting place to be.
Now, one of the interesting parts about being single, being single and also having dated or dating, is we have exes, right?
Okay.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know. I'm just
Like,
scared.
just
what?
nervous?
Yeah, I was like, oh my
I'm
lord,
so
we're
nervous.
walking into like a.
Because I'm looking at you here like over the mic, just like.
No, Tony, look at me. So I'm gonna be like, all right. So last time you had sex, go.
I don't know what was happening because I'm like, she's here. I'm just like, I don't know what's.
No, but with being single
Okay.
and having dated or dating, you have exes.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? And I'm thinking out some examples of me and Vicky.
Just go.
Just get to the
throw out-
question.
Yeah.
No,
Because
no.
like the anticipation you're
Yeah.
building,
Yeah.
you're like, I
I'm
want to
getting
prepare
so
myself.
nervous.
No, I'm just saying, how have you?
I'm so glad that it's just not.
Is this what happens every time I talk?
No, it's just that I just don't know where you're going with this, and
Yeah.
I really need to know.
This is how I feel when you come up next to me and be like, so I've been thinking. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, that I've been thinking. So I'd like to talk.
No, but with being single, we have exes.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on your situation, you probably got to interact with them, deal with them, and it's not always fun. Vicky and I have had awkward moments when we've broken up, and technically we're single, but we still interacted because of the network we were in, where we
Yeah.
still saw each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can imagine it it causes hiccups. It causes
Yeah.
hurt, especially if you're single in the same town, single in the same network of friends, single in the same, job.
Yeah.
Some people, it could complicate things.
Mhm.
Or you could be a savage and not care and straight be bringing your new piece around no matter where he or she is, you know? I remember Vicky and I remember one time we broke up and we're single. I'm out there doing my thing, my thing. Because
He's so nervous. He's like
I
doing
need to
weird
know.
fidgety things.
Yeah.
no, but we were broken up. And I remember we saw each other at an event. And Vicky was there. She was like, hey, what's up? And I was just like, hey. I'm
Like cool guy.
Like we ain't together no more.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he's like, well, I gotta talk to you.
Like I'm single now. But I could imagine that could also affect you just being single.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're not comfortably in being single if you still got stuff going. If it's got issues, unresolved issues like you mentioned earlier with that ex.
Yeah.
Ever been in that situation?
Honestly, I feel like I can tell how somebody is in relationships based on how their ex talks about them. That's the biggest thing. And like if you're like crazy and they like if you broke up on good terms, and honestly I'm fortunate that all of my exes I still have some type of like connection with and we talk, so I don't have that. I haven't had that issue, but I think it's because I've been very candid and honest with how I felt. And some people don't like that, but I'd rather be honest with you as opposed to lie and say, oh, give you some bull excuse,
So
and then
you rip the Band-Aid off. Just
yeah,
rip it off.
and then again sit there in that discomfort. It's like
You're like, I don't like you anymore.
yeah,
I cheated.
wow.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
No, but the awkwardness, I think it does happen, but fortunately I haven't had that bad situation like that.
I've had it, and like I said, it does make when you're trying to live your best life being single, but you still have that unresolved issue. You're like, because then okay, you bump into a club. You're at a club, and you bump into him or her, and you're at the club, and you're trying to do you, but he or she is there, and you're like, damn, I can't even do me now.
Wow, but how many exes do you have?
Yeah, I was like, that's not me. So,
I've never like.
That actually sounds like a really good story.
Yeah, it sounds like.
No,
I'm like, it ain't
Is
me.
this a fictional story?
no, because yeah, somewhat fictional. Cause
Okay.
we
See, now we're like somewhat. So then
okay.
it's
Well,
somewhat real.
I've dated people who we hung out in the same circle.
Okay.
So of course we bumped into each other, we interacted, or we would see each other if we were out and stuff. So here both of us are trying to live our best life, but you're gonna see each other.
Yeah.
I've been in working situations where not this is me, but I worked at a camp. Of course, everyone's dating each other and stuff. Everyone's breaking up. Still, so now I broke up with this person, not me.
Wait, are you talking about the adults or the kids?
Adults.
Oh, so the adults are dating at camps too.
Yeah, adults, not the kids.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like the kids movies where it's like they're in love in camp. But you're saying that this is the adults.
No, he's talking about the adult counselors dating
It's
each
like that.
other.
That's what happens.
Oh.
People date. I was trying to find,
Is that against policy?
I was trying to find. Who knows? I was trying to find a good. I was trying to find an example of people like in close quarters still having to see
gotcha.
each other after breaking up. You know what? Prime
What
example.
if you work together?
People living on college campuses that break up. You're probably gonna see them in Bio 101 next semester. So I feel like it could affect.
That's why you don't date people
Yeah.
when you.
I think it depends on how you end too. Like I think that's the most important thing. Like if you end on good terms and like it's like all right, we're not cool for each other, but if it's bad, then it gets. I can imagine it getting pretty awkward. Or if they're crazy and they still love you and like you're trying to get away, and you're trying to. I've had that where the craziness stepped in and like I was just like, again, candidness and honestness is pretty good in those situations.
So being single, having been single at some point, both you and I, do's and don'ts of being single.
I like that.
Or do's and don'ts of being single.
Okay, dudes. Here's a don't.
Don't
Send pics.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm
Can I say that?
single.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I mean like. Who?
Vicky was like, "Oh my
no,
goodness,
I
send
mean
it."
like. No, like that. I can't believe people even do that.
What? Dude, I get like the most interesting message. Like
That has never been like anything. I think we talked about that somewhere.
What?
We're not into that.
I think that's like the new hello. You know, like like on Facebook, like the wave. It's just like a fucking.
You know how bold and loose you got to be for that to be your hello.
Yo, that's a lot of confidence right there.
crazy.
So at some point you're like, well, okay.
This is the best story ever. It happened yesterday. So my team, like, we're on social media and we're like targeting specific people and like demographics and locations.
Tony's the motivational speaker.
I am.
So he was targeting
If
losers.
you can't tell by the way I'm talking. But like, so one of the guys who's working on like one of our platforms, he sends me like a screenshot and he's like, I think you need to handle this. So he was sending out like requests and invites, and then somebody accepted the request, but their response was, hey, did we meet at a group orgy? That was and I was and I was like, I'm like my page, it says like motivational speaker, like our empowerment like all these like events that we do, and so like I respond back like I'm really sorry, that wasn't like that's not like
That's
I was
not
just,
me.
yeah like wrong person I guess, but then it was just like I'm just like who like
I feel like your whole team is like.
yeah, exactly.
Did
And then
you?
I have to explain it to them. And I'm just like, so I actually had a meeting with that guy this morning.
Oh,
and
my
I was like,
goodness.
so let's talk about what happened yesterday. and he looked at me like, He sipped his coffee mad slow. He was like,
He's like, Tony.
No, it's, I
You
get
don't
it.
have to give me explanations.
I
You
get
live
it.
your life, okay?
And then when you know you're trying to explain it, it almost sounds like you're lying. You're like,
Yes.
no, what happened was.
Yes.
And he was just
I
like,
promise you, I don't know. I wasn't at the group. No. Like I wasn't. No.
but yeah,
You
people
gotta
are
pick
people are pretty bold.
Yeah, you
It's-
gotta pick
it's
your
kind-
work. You be like, I wasn't at that orgy.
Yeah.
No. I wasn't at any.
You're like, no, I wasn't even there. I mean, or any kind.
Yeah, but I think people now are
that's-
much more forward. It's pretty interesting.
Wow.
So with being single, don't be overconfident in how you approach. Is that
Well, I mean,
the PC way of putting it?
yeah, like
Don't be loose.
have
with
some
it.
tact,
Yes.
Yes.
and especially for like guys that are dating, like guys and girls that are dating. Like guys, I think guys think that girls are like attracted to like the cat calls,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
mommy, you fine. Like I'm just like you're stupid. Like, do you think that a girl's gonna stop and be like, oh my god, thank you? You're
Yeah, like that's totally gonna strike up a conversation. Like,
yeah.
you know what, that cat call
Mm.
that really convinced me.
Love
I
you.
mean, wow. What's your number?
But
I
I'm
mean,
only.
let's go back to my house right now.
I'm only doing it because somebody did that. Somebody responded to it.
Or
Really?
someone told you
So that's why I'm doing it.
that's
But listen, this is like, if you really want to get a girl's attention,
Uh-huh.
this is just my thought.
I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
I'm speaking on behalf of a friend, right? But like, if instead of doing a cat call,
Okay.
and this is my approach, like, and this is just like,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
Throw something at
no,
it.
I'm like, excuse me, and like, you know, if I have to run across the street and say something, I'd be like, I'm sorry, my name is Tony. I just wanted to say that you're an amazingly beautiful girl, and I hope you have a great day.
No, I'm not even kidding you.
Okay.
If the minute you say, "Hi, nice to meet you," done. That's all you need to do. It's
Yeah.
so simple. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm whatever.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to, continue the conversation as opposed to being like, "Damn."
Yeah. And
I'm
there's-
gonna be like, who are you talking to right now? I got 20 minutes to get to work.
and it works. And the thing is that even if you don't reciprocate like me saying that you're beautiful or that I think you're
Right,
attractive,
right.
at least I gave you a beautiful compliment and you
Yes.
go on with your day.
Yes.
And if
you
you're
didn't put them
interested-
in a bad mood
yeah.
or anything, or the point is that they just don't see you in a bad light from the door,
Yeah.
which is exactly how they're gonna see you when you catcall them.
Yeah.
Now, the same reason, like I said, that cat caller is doing that because it worked on somebody. It's the same
I don't
reason-
think that's ever worked.
I'm sure.
I think that guys keep lying to each other, telling each other that
it
it works.
had to have worked for people
who?
to do it. Somebody. But I was going to say, it's the same reason why a lot of guys won't do that approach, because we've done that approach and we've just gotten straight, like, laughed away.
That's okay.
No, it's not.
But
But my
let's-
ego is now
So-
shot.
So?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cat call you next time.
No, well, the thing is, it's this is it. I think how you approach it determines their response. Because if I approach you and just say, I just want to introduce myself, my name is Tony, and I think that you're beautiful. right? Or I think that you're a handsome guy. Like, I can say that, and you take that compliment and you go. But if you're interested in me, you're gonna be like, wow, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And we spark a conversation. Like, but maybe that's just the gentleman in me.
People gonna be like, stalker much?
Yeah, and it, but if that's what it is, like, you go on your way and I go mine. But you're gonna talk to one of your girlfriends or one of your friends about, this guy came up and gave me a beautiful compliment, and he didn't even like ask me for my number.
Yes.
Right?
I've done that maybe 3 times my whole life. I can.
The cat call or
no.
I'm a gentleman.
Nah,
Okay.
I'm a gentleman. I've done that maybe 3 times.
Okay.
I want to know.
I'm trying to think if it's worked. It's a long time ago.
So I don't care.
It wasn't.
I don't care.
Okay. So I don't know how to transition. I don't know how to transition out of this one.
So another rule of being single. So we said be tactful, right? Or have some tact.
Have some tact.
Ricky, a rule of being single.
Oh, I don't know.
Front like she don't know.
I don't know.
I have a rule.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna add this one because this is like if you want to date or hook up with somebody who one of your friends hooked up with.
Ooh.
Talk about it.
That is what that requires is a conversation with your friend first.
Yes.
Okay,
oh my God.
I'm glad you said it can't be done.
You know what? Wait.
I'm glad you said it can't
No,
be done.
it can be done.
No, it can be done. But okay, that backfired on me actually.
Oh.
I
wish they could feel the tension in this room.
Go ahead.
Turn
your mic up 'cause I want to hear this. Enunciate. I want to hear every word you're about to say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I reached out to this girl. So this guy was showing interest in me, and I literally heard through the Greek grapevines, which is like one person.
Yeah.
That they may have hooked up with someone else. So I knew the person, so I reached out to them before anything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, this guy's trying to talk to me. Like, do you and him have anything? Do you like him? Like, let me know straight up right now. Because if you tell me, because my approach is the same way, like you mentioned, like the same way that guys just go have their fun. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put it past any girl that's also may or may not be doing the same. Like, I'm not going to assume that every guy a girl may have hooked up with, that she is serious about him.
Yeah.
Like, so then it's also like, we have fun, high five, keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, hey, let me know. Any kind of inkling that you may like him, you let me know and I will fall all the way back. Because I don't have a problem. And she literally said, girl, that's all you. Have fun. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
10 years later, we got a house and a baby.
It was definitely not all day anyways.
That's cute.
But no, that was crazy. And then she's like, oh, I mean, like, I just can't even believe. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, girl, I reached out to you.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So and I was like, I was being straight up with you.
You did the right thing.
Yeah,
I think you did the right thing.
Girl, trust me, nobody, like, I'm not going to be stressing over no dude. Not at this age. I was like 20. I'm like, girl, bye. Ain't nobody got time for this.
I think an important rule, if you're single, you just date.
And honestly, don't even get offended if you feel like, oh, you shouldn't have even asked me.
Yeah,
like,
that's ridiculous.
We're like, what? That's your friend.
Yeah.
At least they thought about you. They're asking.
Now, are you wrong? Even though you and this person are done, or there was nothing going on, are you wrong for telling your friend, there's nothing going on, but I'd rather you not?
No.
Okay, your friend tells you that. Are you not going
Well,
to?
I'd want to know why. Like, are they crazy? Or is it like, or is it something
I'm not going to push it. If I ask my friend, like, hey,
but ain't nothing going on with them anymore.
Like,
they
if
just
at
don't
that
want
moment,
you dating them.
If at that moment she would have said, I don't feel comfortable, I'm not pushing it. She just has to say that, and I'm going to just leave it. All right, so you're not comfortable. If I'm reaching out to you, I'm obviously how you feel is important to me.
Yeah.
So the minute you tell me any lines of I'd rather you not, then it's done. That's it. You just rather me not, and I'm going to just keep it pushing.
All right, so you and her are just associates. You met her once or twice. I ain't even calling her.
No, but
I'm saying she would have said that.
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And I would have just left. I would have left it alone.
I think a rule, if you're single, should be establishing and setting boundaries.
Go on.
As in, if I know I'm single, I want to stay single, but I still want to have my fun, hang out with people, go out on dates, do whatever. I gotta from the jump let people know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and let them know that
That doesn't work.
Mm,
Because listen, you could tell somebody, hey, I'm not looking for something. But if you and I are hanging out every other day and we're talking and you're staying over and we're going out to eat and we're hanging out more than like 3 or 4 days a week, technically we're dating.
Man, you know what it was when you signed up. I put it out there, yo.
But I've hid behind that. That's why now, like I'm on now because I realized the flaw in that because in my mind for so long I'd be able to hook up with somebody and separate emotion from the action.
Because you're heartless.
And so my journey has brought me to the point, that that's unfair. You know what I mean? And that if I'm going to continue that I need to be true and be like, well, then I know that I can still do this and it might be the heartless side of me, but it's unfair to you because I know what it can become and how it's going to feel. But in my mind, I can hide behind, I told you.
yeah,
but I
also think
hiding.
that
I told you.
Yeah, but I also think that people need to be honest with themselves and know that they can't handle situations like that. I know people that they can. That works for them. That's what they look for. But you know, some people, they just want to say like, oh no, I'm cool with that. And then when they're no longer cool with it, they don't say anything. But it's like, no, you have to say something like, hey, look, I thought I could do this. I can't.
I have to say, I'm so happy you brought that up. I have girlfriends that have literally, like not my, like friends that are girls that have literally been like in a situation with a guy who is clearly not interested in committing. And they kind of accept, and they verbally expressed that they've accepted it. Like the girls have expressed like, oh, I'm cool with that. But then once they start catching
them.
But once they start catching emotions, then they start getting mad at the guy because he's not where they are.
Even though he told them what it was.
But the thing is that words and actions are different things. You can't just tell me, and I'm only speaking this because I was
chill, bro.
No, I was the culprit, and that I can say I don't want to be in a relationship, but then I give you everything else that a relationship is, but then I say, hey boy, I told you so, and these are the things that I've done, and it's unfair, and that's the only reason why I'm speaking about it because I've done it where I'm like. I know that what we're doing feels like a relationship, but 7 months ago I told you I'm not looking for anything.
I know, but
I told you.
Yeah, but
I told you.
But that's not fair.
Yeah, but it's not fair to then expect that of them. Like they told you.
Yeah, and you know what?
It's a messed up situation, but that's like the minute someone says like I'm not looking for something serious, I'm just looking to have fun, whatever. Like, okay. You then have to know that you got to be at guard at all times.
Yeah.
Because, like, the minute you start to feel like it's going to be something that you are falling for them or whatever, you have to be like, I need space. Like, you need to fall back.
Yeah. I feel like you got to add a disclaimer. Listen, this won't go anywhere. I'm just trying to have fun. But I'm a really nice guy, and I'm going to treat you really nice. Yeah. That's just who I am.
Right. I want to do relationship
Sign this release form saying that you acknowledge.
I just don't want to be in one. Yeah. Like, I want to do relationship stuff with you, but I also want to do relationship stuff with other people.
Yeah, you got to add that part. And you are not the only one I am treating nice.
If people said it more clearly like
I love how you just said that.
Then people would be like, oh, I see what this is. Okay.
I got that.
So now there's no way 7 months down the line you could say, oh my God, like, nah.
Yeah, maybe people should just say it as clearly as possible.
That was the most clear.
And then
I've
like
ever
make them repeat it back.
Yeah.
Like, what did you hear me
say? Can you sign?
Yeah, what did you hear me say?
I'm going to record you
Put
saying
out your camera. You like record them. Jeez.
Gotta hold your ID card up in newspaper. Like, you said this ain't nothing serious.
What's the date on that paper? Like, damn.
And then send it as a monthly reminder.
Damn. On this day.
Wow,
you guys are vicious. Jeez, I'll take it, I guess.
So let me ask you an honest question.
I mean, because for real, that would have worked. That would have helped me out a long time ago.
Wait, I thought you...
Were we trying? Oh,
no, I'm saying a long time ago. Like I wasn't trying to be in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
And that would have helped. Like for me to be like, yo, I'm not looking. Mm-hmm. You know, like I just crossed. Like, I'm just trying to have fun.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Should everyone have that period where you just do you have
Yes.
fun, be single?
Yes.
Yes, Jesus, it's such a requirement. You need to like
Yeah.
So what you guys are saying is you're,
let that freak flag fly.
as well as you're saying everyone who got married young and is still married, they're wrong. And their
No.
marriage is that what you're saying? I'm not.
No.
That's
Because when you say that, I would think of those people who never had it and went straight into a marriage and stuff, and they're probably thinking, should I have had my period where I just was single? But you're both saying everyone should have that at some point.
Everyone. I feel like if you aren't married yet, you should have it.
Yeah.
You should have that time.
But I also think if you found somebody that you genuinely love and
There's
like,
no point.
Do you?
like yeah, and honestly, if I hope that I find that one day. If I find somebody that genuinely fulfills all of those things for me, then I don't need that.
Right.
If somebody found it when they were younger and they're able to work through all the challenges together, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Do I think it happens often? No.
Yeah.
And then because I believe that we're almost animalistic by nature, like as humans, like we want the challenge of conquering somebody and having that like intimacy or that
Bagged her. Bagged
yeah
him.
exactly.
I
It's
did
a
that.
challenge.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. There's a show on Netflix called what is it called when you go to like those resorts and it's like a nude resort and you're is this
Freaky?
no, it's not. And it's like when you're a wanderer. There's a name for this. I'm gonna think of it. There's a show on Netflix that talks about this relationship, this couple that's been together forever, and they don't like each other. They don't like having sex with each other. They don't like anything.
Why is this together?
And then what happens is she comes up one day and she's like, "Listen, I love you. I'm just not sexually attracted to you anymore."
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, someone just told me that today. Not
What?
someone didn't tell me that, but someone.
What?
Oh my god!
But someone brought up the conversation of.
I'm gonna need names after
Someone brought up the
this.
conversation of. Hence why
It's called Wanderlust. I think that's the name of it, Wanderlust.
someone brought up the conversation of being sexually attracted to your mate,
Yeah.
to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant. I gotta choose my words better. Is it wanderlust? Is that what it is?
Let me see. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. But I think so. This is the problem when you're in relationships for so long. Let me not say the problem. The challenge
Yeah.
is initially the reason why we're in a relationship is because we're attracted to the person,
Mhm.
right? And physically, a lot of times you're attracted physically,
That's
and
to me, that's the first attraction.
that is
Physical, yeah.
that's the first. And if people tell you that they don't see that, that's bullshit.
You're lying, yeah.
Right? So that's the first thing, and then you fall in love with their mind
Yeah.
or their heart.
Mhm.
And then you fall in love with them and the way that they treat you. And so like you start falling in love, but the physical is going to eventually fade.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I have to admit for myself, even when that's such a big thing and you don't even realize that's a big thing, when you get 6 years into your relationship the way that I was, you start realizing, wait, if this attraction isn't there, is this love? If I'm not there, is that this? And I think that's when people get scared, and that's why they say the 7-year there's like a 7-year
Expectancy on.
like relation. That's when everybody gets scared of like that 7-year mark.
Wow.
Right. And there's like studies and stuff like that. But like that's when you have to start saying, all right, well, why do I love this person? Why do I want to be with this person? And in retrospect, those are things that I really wish that I knew so that I could work on it, and I didn't. But that was one of the things that it was like, eventually the attraction and the looks are gonna fade. Like the sexual attraction and the looks are gonna fade. And that's why I was saying before. Then I see unorthodox relationships where they're like, well, let's spice this up a bit. And that wanderlust one is like that. Like they go and play separately, and they find they're more sexually attracted to each other now.
Mm.
It's
Calm down.
She was like,
No, I'm like, oh, okay.
but it's an interesting thing because I think a lot, especially people that are together, once they start seeing like what's out there, it's almost like what's out there is more appeasing. And I think that's the challenge for our generation because we want that gratification and that feeling, and we act on it more than our like parents. But let me say this: you know why people say that we get divorced more now? That's bullshit.
We
like
don't.
no, let me not say it. Statistically, we do get divorced more. But the reason why we're getting divorced more is because, and please don't get offended by this. That's usually means I'm going to say something.
Yeah,
offended.
that's I'm like, don't even
I
say
don't-
it.
Because I don't want it to come across bad, but like in the 50s and the 60s when people weren't getting divorced, it was because women didn't have financial independence to leave a man that was mistreating them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research that kind of, and I don't want to point this as the full indicator, but the moment that women started increasing in income and getting more into the workforce, you started seeing more divorces. And it's not because people loved each other less, it's because now women have options when before they didn't, when the man was the main breadwinner. And now you have women that are having independence and saying, I deserve this, and if you're not going to provide that for me, young boy, I'm leaving. Now we have a different woman that's coming forward. And that's why I was saying a woman should be able to express herself the way that she wants. And it's just interesting when you see throughout history and they're like, oh, you guys don't know how to stick to a relationship. And it's like, did you love him or did you just stay because you had no option?
Very
so
true.
It's like, yeah, my grandparents, they stuck it out. Your grandmother didn't have anywhere to go. Your grandmother didn't have a job. Your grandmother didn't have an education because she didn't have the opportunity. So where is she going to go? And now you have women getting degrees at a crazy rate, financial independence, and there's still a disgusting disparity income gap, but it's still like I just don't want people to think that now we don't love each other. No, it's like now we just have more options and women are gaining the independence that they deserve.
Yeah.
So
you know what's crazy? You mentioned that. I actually just had a conversation I think like maybe 2 days ago about that, because there's like a situation I know where like both of these are not good for the woman.
Okay.
But they're both in very different financial situations.
Okay.
Like one is just going to stick it through because it's like, I've been there. I'm going to enjoy it. I don't even care anymore. I'm going to just enjoy it because they are the man, I would say, is the primary income.
Okay.
But the other woman, everybody's like, I don't know why you stay, girl. You make more money. Like, you got my money. Why you stay? But that's funny because it's like same situations almost, right? But we look at the one that is financially capable of leaving. Like, why are you staying?
Yeah.
You make money. And the other one is like, I feel you. I would stay too. Like, you've been through all that, And it's like, no, I get it because that's the person who has the money. Why would you leave now?
Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
It's really there's like a lot of studies that show like correlations between it. It's not like the single indicator, but like you start thinking about it, and it's like, yeah. Like, yeah, grandma really didn't love grandpa. But if you get through the humps after 30 years, eventually it's like now you meet and now they're probably more understanding. You understanding. But if you can get through that hump, but that hump is, I feel like it was at the detriment of somebody's emotional well-being.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's very interesting. And so now you have this, I think you have like a more level balance of a playing field with men and women, and women are standing up for themselves, which I think is awesome.
So let me ask you all this is the last question I'll ask you all on the topic. Who has more fun being single? Males or females?
I guess it depends how you define fun, but I'd say
who has
males.
an easier time being single, in your opinion?
I think women do. I think men act more when they're single. I think women have the ability to preserve themselves more than men do.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know in response to his answer, or?
The reason why is because that's a hard question to answer, because some women are not like what you would assume single women, how they would be. Some are more savage than men.
Oh,
so,
I've seen some savage.
So that's why I'm like, I can't answer that because I don't know. Like, some girls are like, yo, all of them. I don't care. Like,
just take them all.
like or they're like, like they're not following those rules. Like, that's not what they're.
Well, I don't think women should. I think women should be expressive as they want.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think society, again, tells women that if they are expressive, then they're like a whore or they're these things. Where guys, someone's like, you're cool.
But I feel like now, women are like, all right, so then I'll be that.
Yeah. And that's the way it should
like,
be.
I'll be that and I still get paid. So I don't know what to tell you.
I love it. That's great.
So, as Tony said, send those pics. But be
what?
But have tact when doing so.
Yeah, like get a
so good, at least say hi
filter.
first.
Yeah.
So for all the single people, have
a good
tact
filter
with your hello. Have a good filter.
A nice background.
Angles, people, angles.
I want to thank Tony, aka Lessons from Tony, for being here, joining us in this fun conversation. That initially I felt bad because at some point I felt like he was having some self-realization moments. And it was just making him sad, realizing that after we're done, After we're done right here, me and Vicky are gonna go cuddle, and he's
No,
gonna
we're
go in his car by himself and be alone.
Yo.
I'm joking.
Wow.
I'm joking.
I'm gonna send you so many crying videos.
No, but as always, we like to have people who can add to our conversation, and we're happy to have had lessons from Tony here on his East Coast home.
I know, right?
You know, while he's here, real quickly, where can they find you on all social media platforms?
At lessons from Tony across everything.
On everything.
Lessons from Tony.
And really quickly, since we have all of our You, Me, We podcast listeners,
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance to plug. You got something big coming up?
I do.
Yeah,
I have
two things big coming up.
I go the big one.
The big one,
on the East Coast, because the other one's happening on the West Coast. But
we in there.
It's basically on April 6th, we have a day of motivation. And what we're going to be talking about is taking control of your life. And we talk about like emotional well-being, like how do we have to preserve ourselves and protect ourselves from some of our like self-deprecating thoughts and how we are abusive to ourselves in many ways. We'll talk about professional success and happiness. So it's just a day of like good positivity, motivational speaking, empowerment, excitement, and honesty. So, yeah.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Episode 23.
I hope. You've already said it's fine.
Yeah, that's the second time you said it.
Of the You, Me,
sure.
We podcast.